Perfect. All right. So welcome to Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. Very excited to welcome our guest today, Anne-Marie McManus. She's coming to us from Anne-Marie from mid-United States. Remind me again.
Augusta, Georgia.
That's right. Augusta,
Masters
Georgia.
Century 21 should remember.
Yeah.
The Masters in Augusta, Georgia.
Exactly. Well, good for you. So have you ever been to the Masters tournament? Did you ever get to go?
I have. When we were teenagers, we used to get to, it was very easy to get a job there. I was a gallery guard. I knew nothing about golf, but I had a great time.
So did that interest you in golf later on by being exposed to that?
It did. And of course, beautiful vistas and gorgeous places. So it kind of got me hooked.
All right. Good job. So, Anne, do us a favor. Give us a little Reader's Digest version of your career in real estate, maybe in the area that you serve, that kind of start us off here, please.
Well, I actually got licensed when I was 18. My dad had a Century 21 brokerage. And so just the summer before I went away to college, I got my real estate license. I had kind of helped him many summers, just going in and cleaning up the signs and doing all that. But I didn't really, it was just going to be kind of a little bit of a fallback. And I was very into ballet, and I had gone to New York, and I had, just taken that to a certain level, and had decided that I was going to go the university route and went to the College of Charleston. And then I went to Europe for a little while and I danced there. But I really, when I got back, I thought I wanted to work in a university setting and work with foreign students. And so that it just didn't pan out. And my fallback was going home and working with Dad. And it was good. All of the things that he thought that the talents that I would bring to it, those were my strengths. And it did help me kind of create the kind of life that I really wanted. I traveled and seen other places, but I really love Augusta, and I'm very good at sales, and I don't have to, I can come home every night. It's a great sales job.
That's fantastic. So in ballet, I would assume that you practiced.
Yes.
Okay. So did you bring that skill and discipline of practice into real estate with you?
Well, I didn't even realize at first. I kind of watched my dad, and he was a broker and wore, so many hot hats. And I saw him get through the Jimmy Carter era and get us all through college. The interest rates were 21%. But I really didn't, the technical aspect of it, because he was a broker, but he was also a salesperson. And, in the 70s, everybody wore all kinds of different hats. It wasn't till I had gone to a Mike Ferry event that I realized that structure works great for me, because I can be high expressive, and but going in through the coaching and learning the skills of how to run a real estate business, that was something that really set it apart for me.
Fantastic. So until that time, so when you were 18, were you listing and selling property at that time? Did you start doing that?
I was. I didn't, it was really 4 years later when I came home, and I was working full time. And of course, you tend to work more buyers, but I realized that I wasn't going to have any kind of consistency unless I had some good inventory. And so I started working on selling, and Mike was coming to different Century 21 Southeastern regional events and talking about the importance of having a seller-based business. And that really helped me a great deal.
Got it. So when did you really start taking listings and making sales?
Well, by the end of the first year, I knew that that's, what my focus needed to be.
Okay.
So,
I'm
I
sorry.
was just working along, and I think I had a goal of, making the $1 million club, and so it's so funny now. We'll sell 3 houses here, and you'll make the $1 million club. But
Right. So back in that time, were you working expireds for sale by owners, just listed, just sold, maybe working your dad's database? What were you
a
doing?
lot of for sale by owners at that time, because it was just, the market was very different then. And then later I started working a lot of the I love the for sale by owners, but I started working more expireds.
Okay. All right. And so as you fast forward, where's your business coming from today?
Well, a lot of it now is, of course, I'm not 18 anymore, and I've been doing this a long, long time. And so past clients, center of influence, but I still love the helping the expireds, and I'm calling on the for sale by owners.
So 2020, you ended up with how many deals closed, more or less?
I think it was south of 90.
South of 90 could be 50.
No, I'm just trying to think exactly. Isn't that terrible? I just have come back from 2 weeks vacation, and I couldn't tell you what year it is. But maybe it was, isn't that I think it was like 86.
Okay. How much money?
I should have done my homework before
That's
this.
all right. That's okay. So 86 deals closed would give you in 2020 about how much money? Gross.
I earned 435,000.
435. Okay. All right. And in Atlanta, that's a good amount of money, right?
Well, it's even better in Augusta. We're about 2.5 hours away, and yes, it's a very good standard of living.
Good. Excellent. Fantastic. Was that one of your better years or average?
Not really. It was a growth year. That was really not one of my better years.
Okay. Got it. And where are you so far in 2021?
All right. So far, in income, I've surpassed that, far surpassed that already.
So closed north of 435 already.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Where's that business coming from? Past client sphere?
Past clients, center of influence. Actually, a lot of I've worked on agent referrals, and I get a lot of business, funny enough, from my sphere of influence, who are people who have a real estate connection in Augusta. And over 10% of my business last year came from people with active real estate license that I even, I would sell their home or sell their mother's home, or, also great agents like, on the call now that have sent me business from across the country.
So tell me how that works for you. How do you cultivate that?
Well, I think the one thing is just talking to them and making sure that they're not overlooked, because the business has changed so rapidly in the last 10 years. I mean, just isn't it incredible the way that it has changed, and the documentation required, and all the compliance, and a lot of agents that were very good, just all that, the use of SkySlope and the technology, sort of kind of got them out of the business, and yet they owned a lot of real estate. They knew a lot, but and I kind of took it on a personal little bit of a part of my business to make sure that I'm doing business for people that recognize the value that I offer. And I think it was, there's a lot of people buying business in my market. And I just thought, well, I'd like to do business with people who appreciate me for my skill, for my experience, and that part of it was important to me.
That makes a lot of sense. So how would you describe to our group how you started this? I mean, was it people that you met at Mike Ferry events, or people that were been in the business for years and you just cultivate that? Tell us, kind of.
Well, a lot of it just kind of came because really, I would see them and, maybe they had tried themselves and they were having a little difficulty. And also maybe they felt like they wanted someone, they knew the importance of having an advocate, and they knew that I would advocate for them and take good care of their business. And so that's really how it happened. And it just happened 3 or 4 times on accident. And then those were the people that I was calling, because honestly, it's a joy to know that I've built my skill set over the years, and people understand it is important that I call my database and I connect buyers and sellers. And I just make sure that they, by doing so, I'm giving them the broadest exposure and they're able to get the most money for their house.
Right. And you show that through statistics in your marketplace.
Yes.
Correct? Got it. So, Anne, sounds like you have, in order to be working with real estate professionals in your market and outside of your market, it sounds like you probably have a pretty nice reputation in town.
Well, I've worked hard to earn it and guard it,
Well, clearly it sounds that way. So you return phone calls to other brokers?
Yes. Yeah. The golden rule. I really do try to follow the golden rule.
Right.
And
right.
it pays.
And it does pay. Good for you. Good for you. Because some brokers or agents, they don't have time for another agent. And I think that's a really very positive and another approach to gaining more business. Good for you. You're still making $500,000 a year and you still return phone calls to other agents. Wow, that's great. I should write that down as a teaching point. Good stuff. Thank you. So Anne Marie, past client and sphere. So did you start out focused on past client and sphere? I mean, we hear it from Mike all the time and other agents, but a lot of times we don't get it for a while. Did that happen to you, or you picked up on it right away?
It happens to me, every 6 months. I tend to like, I have developed the skill of prospecting, and I like to talk to people and get the win. And sometimes, you have to talk to more people. It's way easier to talk to people that that you've already done business with. But I don't know, sometimes there's just, that this person's house has just come off the market. They obviously need somebody right away. And so I was probably emphasizing, you have to call them all. You have to call them all.
Got it. And then you put them into a system. What do you use? Use anything special to stay in touch with them, or?
All kinds of different things. I've tried different programs and just basically I had a newsletter 4 times a year that I would mail out and just try to send them something of value. I tend to overthink what I'm sending, but it's really just getting your name out there in front of them. Got it.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to 2020 for a minute. March 17th, March 18th, March 19th of 2020, COVID comes. And did you just keep going? Did you stop for a minute?
I didn't stop because I had a daughter.
Wait. Hold on. Somehow you got muted here.
I don't know how I got muted, but I just unmuted myself.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I haven't touched anything.
Go ahead.
So my daughter was going to get married, and we just finished. We've got 5 adult children. My last one is finishing her last semester of university, and things were rolling. And when I immediately thought about 2009, 2008, 2009. I thought, oh no, it's here again, and so I just doubled down on things. And of course, it was easy, like you were just saying. I was overhearing you chatting with people and talking about your goals and how that pulls you through. And that wedding, that pulled us through, because it started out that we were going to have it at this beautiful, she'd chosen the Augusta Country Club to have it at, and we were going to have, we ended up having half as many people, and we had it in our backyard. And if anybody's watched Father of the Bride, it ended up being twice as much, but
Exactly.
It was incredible. And I was able to trust the process and not be, whatever the equivalent for the mother of the bride for Bridezilla is, because I could trust that if I just kept doing my job, it was going to be all right. And that's always, to me, the bottom line of what you're teaching and what Mike teaches is that skill set. Just as long as you are, like you said, practicing, like, ballet, you can be a prima ballerina, but if anybody's followed their little girl's ballet class, you do basically the same 12 exercises as a beginner as you do every single day as a principal dancer. So that's what following this system does. It gives you exactly what you're supposed to do to reach the heights.
It's amazing. We hear that story again and again and again, and yet there's some agents that don't believe the story. How did you buy in at such an early stage in your career? Robert, can you handle that? Thank you.
Well, I saw it was great for me because it was just common sense, really. And I realized in me that I'm like a lot of real estate agents. If it's shiny, I want to try. I'm looking at the emails, and there's this new thing. Try this new thing. Try that new thing. And I guess because I was classically trained in ballet, I did realize that if you follow the true methodology and it's there in black and white, and there's really no secret answers. It's just I learned how to appreciate just that daily grind.
Right. And it really isn't a grind once you've been doing it for as long as
actually, yeah, there's really some joy and fun in it. That's what I think, right. I found every day.
Yeah. So do you actually role play daily still?
I do, yes.
Fantastic. So how many years in the business?
37.
Good for you. And you're still role playing, 4 or 5 days a week?
Yes, I'm gonna turn you up a little bit because I'm having a little trouble hearing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll make sure. No, I think we're okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. So you're still role playing daily. Are you prospecting on a daily basis?
I am. I'm getting back after my trip, and I've learned that it's all about the schedule. And so I'm getting back into another 90-day cycle. And it helps me to look at it like that, because I think, it's like a semester in school,
right?
And another semester. That's very helpful for me to think about those cycles.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. That's a great visual to that. So, being away for 2 weeks, might as well be 2 months sometimes, right? So do you have assistants that help you in the business?
Fortunately, yes. And the person that helped me, I had a little bit of a surprise. My daughter was working with me, and then we planned this big trip, her father and I. And then she decided that she's going in a different direction. She's following a religious vocation. So she, after us planning the trip, she made the decision, and it revolves around, she's got to go do something based on the school year. So she was leaving, and my assistant of 2 months took over. I have a very experienced transaction coordinator, but the two of them just made it happen.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have buyer's agents or listing agents that you work with?
Well, I'm the primary listing agent, and I have a virtual assistant who's helped so much with all, multiple offers and different things like that, and been with me for over 5 years. And then I have my listing marketing coordinator assistant who's been with me 2 months, and then I have a transaction coordinator with she's got tons of experience.
Well, that's great. So basically, all the business you're doing and have done for a number of years is pretty much generated by you, correct?
Yes.
And then your team closes it,
Yes.
more or less?
They help me. Yes, we're big on service.
What percentage of your business is listing sold then?
Oh, 60 to 65%.
Got it. And so do you run the buyers around too, or?
Well, I I try not to run them around. We're trying to be very efficient and find them the house that works, and do enough homework on the front end that, that we just don't make it a very, very difficult process. Ideally, my daughter would have been a great buyer's agent, but that's, we're rolling with what we got here.
Yeah, no, I get it. By the
I'm
way,
looking for a strong buyer's agent, though.
yeah, that's right. So is that your children behind you?
Yes.
It's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
Very good. How
That
old
was
is?
one of my early goals.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Beautiful family. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So your how do you choose? Let me back up. Sorry. Do you do a buyer's consultation on all your buyers?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, so you do a buyer's consult. So you won't take a buyer out unless you sit down over the phone or in person to talk to them.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Well, talk to me about that. I mean, you seem very adamant about it, and I've seen some top agents do this. That's a difficult concept for a lot of brand new agents to say, well, wait a minute, let's figure out what the story is here. So what's your thought process with that?
Well, my style would be to, jump and run. And I did do that for many years. But if you're showing them things that aren't going to work, it's frustrating for them. And and if you're showing them, if you're setting them up, it's just like with sellers, how important it is to help them prepare the house to have it ready for sale so they make the most money, so they have the least amount of inconvenience. To me, it's every bit of as, why would you not do that for buyers and help them know here's what the process is, and here's what we're seeing, and this is why you should consider paying cash in this market, and this is why you should consider this type of home for all these reasons.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Good stuff. So what do you think your superpower is, Ann?
I think my superpower is probably being willing to let I'm very high expressive, and working to keep it between the lines and stay in my schedule and remain grounded and just willing to kind of put that part aside and just do the work. That's probably my strongest thing. And I think that's, if you ask me what I got most out of the system, it is the schedule. Because the schedule that's what helped me raise 5 kids. And that's been my why for, being home after 3.
Right. Right. So that's pretty much your day. You want to make sure you're home by 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Yeah. Or that's what I was able to do as a result of following the schedule.
Wow. And I would not guess you to be an expressive based on this conversation. So you're achieving your goal. Congratulations.
Well, good.
Usually in the first 3 minutes, you can tell who's an expressive.
So what do you think I am?
I wasn't even thinking about it, but not
Okay.
an expressive.
Okay. I think I'm an analytical expressive.
Okay. So a lot of times we ask agents, is there a particular objection handler or situation that you get into with a buyer or seller that when you get this objection or you get this situation, it's like, yes, I can handle it and I have really good results in it. Is there anything that comes to mind that particularly works for you more than something else?
The commission.
Tell me about that.
Well, just that is probably something that, I've worked very hard to maintain the commission rate because I helped run my dad's brokerage, and then we sold to the biggest brokerage in Augusta. And when they hired me on, they said, here's our fee. And I have really, that's one of those things where I said, I'm going to provide that much value. I'm going to do it. And so I'm going to treat everybody fairly and I'm going to charge it. So I would say that's the objection handlers that have just, I'm probably most proud of that,
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Then you want to go through a little role play with that? Are you comfortable with that, or? You wanna try it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what direction do you want me to go in, or does it matter?
Well, yeah, throw it at me. I don't know how well I'll do, but
So Ann, I like what you've got to say. I really think that you've said a lot of cool things here, but I just don't want to pay that much commission.
I can understand that. Tell me, I know it sounds like the most important thing to you is to net the most money, correct?
Certainly very important.
Great. Well, my track record shows that I'll net you more than anyone else. So let's just go on and sign the contract.
Okay, well, I can appreciate that, Ann, but I've heard that from a couple of other agents that I had out here. And so what do you do different?
Well, I'll show you the way that I can net you up to 17% more. It's part of our process. And as soon as we get going, I can go over that with you. So if you'll just sign right here and we'll get started.
So what are some of the points in the 17%?
Okay, let me go over, I actually have an action plan and I'll go over this is what we do for every seller. And then as we go through it, I don't have it on hand right here, but one of the things we do is I call all the people that I think would be good prospects for your house.
Okay.
In order to give you full service, you would like me to do that, wouldn't you?
I would.
Okay. And then and
Right.
so on and so forth.
All right.
And then if they still want me to cut, I said, well, which one of these would you want me to leave off?
So it sounds to me that your attitude sets the stage. You're not caving in on the money like a lot of agents say you want to cut the commission and you would say, okay, how much? Yeah, that doesn't come out of your mouth, right?
I believe in the service.
Okay.
I'm willing to deliver the service, but you wouldn't choose your physician based on the fee that he charged you.
Correct.
In fact, you'd pay more if they were more skilled and more experienced, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably would. Got it. Good stuff. All right. Anne, are you open to taking a few questions right now?
Sure. And
Absolutely.
it's funny, I can't see people's faces.
Really?
So
Well, not a lot of, that's interesting because we've got about 60 or so on this. I don't know how much on Facebook, but there's I don't know, there's 15, 20 faces here. So let's see. Let's see what
okay.
all right. So all right, questions for Anne. Questions for Anne this morning. Okay. Who wants to just raise your hand or just speak up, please? Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, and thank you for sharing your knowledge. I have a question. You said that you try to be home by 3 o'clock because of your kids, right? Can I ask you, like, would you go like over your daily schedule, or what, how do you set time for, I mean, what do you do in the morning, and then, what time are you gonna take lunch, and then get everything in, to find
order
time
to
for
do that?
appointments and everything. Yeah.
Okay, and now
Thank
they
you.
are all, the last one is finishing college. So they haven't been home for a little while, and I will tell you, I have really, really backslid. But and I'm doing a disservice to my wonderful husband, but the schedule helped me because at that point, I really didn't have any choice because we needed to move on to the next thing, and I needed to pick them up. And that's the beauty of this job, that you can, I was there to take them to Irish dance, to ballet, to football, all those activities. And so what my schedule was, I would, everybody would get off to school. Then at 8:30, I would role play, then 9 to 10 prospect, and I'd start with expireds, and then I'd move to I love to do just listed, just sold to my sphere of influence and my past client base, and then pre-qual, and then working on your CMAs. That would be about, say, prospecting from like 9 to about 10:45. Then you do your CMAs, do a little bit of admin, get a little bit of lunch, and then 12, your first would be my slot for, what I would do is when I was prospecting, I'd have my calendar, what I do still, but I'm a little bit more liberal with the appointment times, but I'd have appointment time at 12 and at 1:15. So I would be finish the 1:15, at 2:15, and then I'd run over to the school.
That's great. Yeah, that's smart. You kept in that little slot right there, so you know exactly
Yes.
What time you need to go, and thank you.
And
Thank you.
that's very cool too. If any of you've done the prospecting school, once I learned how to actually have the calendar open and just try to fill my slots, I thought of myself like my pediatrician, and I need to book my appointments, or a dentist, so I would just try to fill those appointment times.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Excellent. Thanks. Good question, Chris. Other questions for Anne Marie? Other questions? Raise your hand. Or
I'm curious about, I was curious about when she said something about she has a virtual assistant. I don't understand that. I mean, I don't, anyway, you can explain.
Like, what does he help me with?
Well, no, I mean, virtual, like how far away is this virtual assistant?
He's in the Philippines, and he is, indispensable. He just helps me with keeping the database straight. And he helps me, gosh, when we get multiple offers, he works on the weekends too. And he helps me sort them, and he helps me keep good relations with the other agents, because that's how crazy things can get if you have multiple offers, and you want to get back to the people, and he helps me with communication in that regard. So that's the kind of thing that he does.
So,
Okay, so, I'm sorry, so all that stuff that you don't need a license to do then?
Yes, right.
Interesting. Okay, thanks.
So my follow-up on that, Valerie, for Anne Marie is, how do you identify to find that person? I'm looking for somebody that can do X, Y, and Z, or.
Well, there's a company called My Outdesk, and they're awesome. They actually, it's the best process for hiring I've ever had, the quickest, because there's plenty of people who want to work, and they're very highly skilled. And before they even get into their process, they have to go through a 6-week real estate training, because most of them are very technically trained in customer service anyway. And so then they send you 3 videos, and then you interview. They send you the disc profile. They make it easy.
Very cool.
Can you put that in the chat? What company is that?
Yeah, it's called My Outdesk.
Oh, My Out Deck.
Desk.
DECK.
DESK. Like you're sitting at your
My
desk.
Out Desk. I see.
Yes.
My Out Desk.
My Southern
I-
accent.
My Out Desk.
All right, good.
Okay, thank you.
Great idea. Thank you. Go ahead, Josie.
Hi, thank you so much, Anne Marie. I'm glad I had this opportunity to ask you. You said that you enjoy calling your client base with your just listed, just sold. So obviously your client base is in the same area.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So can you give us a script, what you say? Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Josie. I'm just calling because I just sold that house on Millage Road. That beautiful historic home on 2.5 acres. And I was just wondering, who do you know who might be thinking about selling their house?
Same script.
Josie, I think it's the accent.
No, I mean, I just, when she said that, I thought, well, I do the just listed as sold, but unless they're right in the area. Yeah, that's
but don't you know, even in Huntington Beach is not so big, you could, if you're calling certain people,
yeah,
you could
Yeah.
do that, or you could find somebody in your office's listing that's in an area that you work, and
there you go.
you could call them about that house.
Very good. Thank you.
Good, perfect, good. All right, other questions for Anne Marie? Other questions? Looking for raised hands or just speak up? So, and while they're thinking of questions or getting ready to raise their hands, let me ask you, so what could you tell, let's say, a newer agent that's just coming into the business, or an agent that's, let's say, done 10, 12 transactions a year for the last 4 or 5 years, that wanted to move to the next level? What would you recommend for them right now? 2 or 3 items, 4 items they need.
First, I'd recommend them getting together a directory of everybody that they know, and not just sweating over it too much, but just, jot down 5 names at the first day, and just pick up the phone and start calling them, and just say, hey, gosh, it's so exciting what's happening in real estate. This is an amazing time to get your home sold or to buy a house. The interest rates haven't been this low. Just offer them something of value, but then use the script, because it will make you listen.
I can hear that.
Yeah, who was that? It's a cow over there.
Okay, so that's one item.
All right, so then I'd say, I'd get Vulcan. Do y'all have Vulcan?
We use Vulcan and Arch.
Okay, so use your service and
Uh-huh.
then call the expireds. And because, you work for a strong brokerage, and if it didn't sell in this market, they really do need you. And so then I would go through the expired script. And so that's the second thing that I would do.
Okay, all right. Anything else that you would recommend? Newer agent?
I'd probably try to figure out why you want to do it, because it's it can be very emotionally draining, and it's, tiring. So I would just really get very clear on what your why is and why you want to do it. And then before you know it, you're enjoying doing it and your skills improved.
That is so true.
Yeah. And then I would say, of course, just role playing and practicing, because that confidence comes across to people, and you will set yourself apart because there's just not that many people out there willing to ask you a question and then listen to your answer.
No, that's for sure.
And I really like your first point. I don't know if anybody missed it or not, but you said learn your scripts so that you can listen better. And I tell you, some of the days that I'm more confident on the phone is because I already know the script and I can hear what they're saying. And the script may not go down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order, but I'm using the script in different variations or a different order. But at the end, I get the answer, whether, they want to sell or not, or get the appointment or not, or whatever the script is that I'm using.
Right.
So it's such an incredible point there, that when you memorize it and you learn it, you don't have to think about that so much. You actually listen better. And that's the God honest truth.
Yeah.
Great advice. Even I need to hear that sometimes, because sometimes I wing it and I'm not focused, right?
Yeah. And it also gives you continuity of service. Like when you go to the doctor, they're going to check your blood levels. They're going to check this, they've got a checklist, and that's how you get a good diagnosis. And if you forget to ask some of the questions, like is there anybody else there? Are you interviewing more agents? I mean, there's so many important questions that if you leave one off, your service is likely to suffer.
Good
Got
point.
it. All right, good stuff. All right, unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves. Let's give Anne Marie a big hand. Woo! All right.
Well, thanks for having me, y'all.
You have reached the
Fred, did you have something, or Jeanette? No, you guys are okay. Get muted. Okay, Anne Marie, thank you so very, very much. Usually what we do now is we'll take a few minutes and kind of go through what did we learn. You're welcome to stay with us and listen to that, or if you have a hard stop, we certainly understand.
Okay, well, good. Yes, I got another couple of minutes. I wish I could figure out how to get y'all all back up on there.
Look at the view at the top right. Top right, it says view. Click on that. And then go to gallery view.
Gallery. Yeah.
I see ya. Okay, good.
All right.
Go ahead.
Good job. Okay. All right. So what did we learn today? What did you learn today from Anne Marie? Who's first?
I just wanted to say something really quick. I think the thing that I appreciated about, and it was, I don't know if I got this in the very beginning or not, but Anne Marie, I really love that you talked about being an advocate for your clients and how important that is. It's kind of like having them know how important you are to them and for them. I think that's like a big, huge component in making sure that you get paid for what you do,
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent stuff. That's why you get agent referrals. It's positive. Okay, who else? What else did we learn today? What else? Nobody learned anything? Come on, you guys.
Follow your schedule.
On your schedule.
Follow your schedule. It means so very, very much. It means so very much. Good job. All right, what else did we learn today?
And she studied like a ballet and pretty like stable by stable, go to high level. So need to be learn, practice every day, like be absolutely like that's one. So you can go to high level. If like ballet you stand first class, not be first time, you could be high level. So that you need to be learn day by day, spend your times. Practice.
James, it's critical. It's like oxygen. And it's the, thing I say all the time. You've got to learn your scripts and dialogues and you have to preview property. If you don't do those two things, I don't care how much prospecting you're doing, you're not going to do well in this business, period. End of conversation. And almost every agent that we've interviewed has implied or said those things directly to us. It's counterintuitive because when agents come into real estate, what do? Prospect. Do they know what to say? No, but they prospect. And they usually prospect expireds and then they get eaten alive and then they hate it and they go do something else. It doesn't work. I'm not going to do it. What else did we learn today? Yvonne,
Can I share something?
Yvonne, go
Yeah.
ahead.
First of all, Anne-Marie, thank you for coming. You are so beautiful. I love your beautiful smile. Keep it up. Okay. And also, I like the way you handle the commission, tell them, show them this 17, 24 points, whatever you do. So what do you want me to leave out? So nobody wants to leave out anything. So you keep your 6%. So I like the way you handle the commission part. Thank you for sharing.
Perfect. Good. Thank you, Yvonne. Excellent. What else did we learn today? Anything else? How about the part, and James kind of alluded to it right from the very beginning. I didn't spend a lot of time with it, Anne-Marie, but it had to do with the ballet. Most of the more successful agents come from some kind of discipline in their life. And whether it's sports, practice, the discipline of the practice, whether it's ballet, whether it's music, piano, whatever it comes from, and the agents that don't tend to do that don't usually come from discipline. So really applaud that. All right, unmute yourselves again. Unmute yourselves, please. And let's give Anne-Marie a big hand. Woo! All right.
Thank you all.
Make sure we have